Hello and welcome to Improving Project Collaboration in the Cloud with Sage Construction Project Center. My name is Vincent Pate, and today we're going to go through a couple quick slides talking about what the Sage Construction Project Center is about in the Sage universe and how it's, of course, going to help you and your company specifically to get you over the hurdles of, project management in the field. We're going to spend most of our time in demo form, and we'll tell you it's a pretty large piece of software. We're not going to get through it all in 30 minutes, so I'll kind of hit on the top end points, and if anyone wants more information later, just go ahead and email me, let me know. I've got longer videos and other things to provide you, or one-on-one consultations if you need it too. Now, what Project Center is all about is helping you take care of some key things inside your organization. Namely, we want to allow you to have access to all of your project documentation in your hands, whether or not you're in the office, in the field, whether you're in the company, meaning your company, and most people I'm assuming talking to here are general contractors, could work with others, but we will be primarily talking in that sense today. But even your subcontractors, your architects, your engineers, your consultants, allowing everybody in the project to collaborate with and allow for sharing of information. We want to allow everyone to be more organized and productive by having a single source of information. Now, the single source of information being Sage, controlling Project Center in terms of being the third party where everything's flowing through, means that we have a single source of information that is from a third party, Sage. That's not you, it's not your subcontractor, it's not your architect. And if there's any questions or, let's say, hey, somebody thinks that you didn't do your part of the bargain and they want to claim that they never received documents. Well, we want to help minimize those risks of litigation by providing you all the information as it happened. We track everything throughout the software. And because everything is happening live in the cloud, from your device, it means you can gain a competitive edge out in the marketplace from your competitors who have not gone mobile, allowing you to be more productive as you go do all the work. Now, what are some of the things we can do? Well, there's a ton of stuff, as I mentioned earlier. Key factors, submittals, RFIs, doing all your drawings and specifications and photos, meeting minutes, daily logs, punch lists, and key pieces on the cost management of allowing you to have access to your accounting. One of the huge benefits of Sage Construction Project Center is not just tracking all of your documents in the field, but being able to actually work with accounting as well, because the integration back to your Sage accounting system is top. There's no software out there that can compete with us on this, as we are a Sage module built in to work exactly with everything that we have. Now, part of this whole idea is to go fully collaborative in the field, bringing everyone together, owner, the superintendents, project managers, subcontractors, vendors, and even your C-level people and your estimators all into a single location that they can work through and be available. So let's take a look at the software here. Now, Sage Construction Project Center, before I jump too deep into the demo, let me let you know what you're looking at. This is our website version. We actually have two versions of Project Center. The one I'm going to be primarily focusing on today is the website. We also have an app. The app is great for offline capabilities, and if I have time, I'll bring that out as we go through this presentation. But primarily, we're working off the website. Because it is a website, it can be logged in from anywhere, from any device. I'm on a laptop. I've worked this on smartphones. I've worked this on tablets. It's wherever you need it to be. And we're designed around doing a couple key pieces. Now, I'm already on the project management side here for a particular project I'm working on. You can flip over and have as many projects as you need. A couple things you're going to notice on the Project Center is we give you unlimited data storage in the cloud. And this means you can have every project you've ever worked on put into here. There's no limitations on that, and every project can have gigabytes of data if you want them to have it. 100% customizable as well as you go through and start adding in all the pieces that go along with it. Now, starting from the beginning of a project, you can start putting in all your plans and specs and photos and everything in there. part of what we're designed about doing is having completely customizable folder structures with all the customizable security that goes along with it. You may have current plans where you have your architecturals, mechanical, plumbing, electrical, other things as well. And different people in your organization, and even outside your organization, will need to have security access to the different portions. And so what we design this around doing is giving your subcontractors access only to the folders and maybe even only to the files that they're supposed to. You can set security levels at pretty much any portion of the software so that you know confidently that you control what people can or cannot do within your software. In fact, the whole project member list can be brought in from Sage. We do have a connection back to Sage Address Book, or you can maintain one in the cloud, but also allowing those same people that work with you on multiple projects to have a central source of information. And on every project, those people could work on potentially different security settings. So in Project A, your subcontractor is a full-on sub. But on Project B, they're only a supplier, let's say. This can actually be handled in our software, and you can allow the security settings appropriately. Now, the whole idea of collaboration, just to get this out of the way, no, you don't have to pay for any of these people. All people outside of your company are free. We don't charge for them, but you as the GC control what they can or cannot do. And what they can or cannot do is typically revolving around what's in project management. So within here, all of the different project management documentation and tracking can happen. And we're designed around being a to-do system as a what-did-do system. What that actually means is you have your RFIs within here, and you can have your subcontractors have their own folder. They log in. They can't see your folders. They can't see the architect's folders. They can't even ask a question of the architect without going through you first. But they have their own RFI logs separate from yours and trackable on their own. These RFIs can, and in many cases do, connect over to your own RFI log. In fact, part of the whole system is that when they log in and ask a question of you, it's going to send you an email with a link to take you to the RFI in the system. And if you look at that RFI and you think the question is appropriate to answer yourself, you don't need to bring anyone else in, you can literally put in a reply right into it, hit send, and that reply is emailed over to the subcontractor, and they're done. But if that question truly is something that you need to expand on, we have a forward button right up top here that copies their RFI, puts it into your RFI log. You can then clean up the question, make the question more appropriate for the architect, maybe add some extra files or documents or reference. Again, unlimited file storage, so put as much as you need to on there. But all that can be added to it, forwarded and transmitted over to your architect, who can then answer back through the system. Everything's tied together, and we make it as simple as possible to track conversations. We get full replies going back and forth with every member, even those CC'd or are outstanding on it. And at the end of the day, once you find the answer you like, you just give it a nice little check mark and closes your RFI, emails everyone that was part of it, and gets it out of your system so that you don't have to worry about running those reports and finding out, what's open right now. Speaking of which, we have a full set of reports for everything we're going to talk about today. So if you have RFI reports, submittal reports, daily logs, we've got them. They can all be scheduled. They can all be modified. And think of it as kind of the notification system. RFIs and submittals are a good one. Specifically, let's talk about submittals. I could have my submittal log set to show my ball in court, all my open submittals, and I can have this run every Tuesday morning and shoot over to the owner and the architect and my project manager or whoever's running it on the GC side of things. And this report happens, and it just gives you everything that's open. Now, of course, it's, as I said, it's customizable. So if you want to show only overdue, or if you want to, show only certain ranges of specs to certain people, you can do all that as well. But within here, I can send every, once a week, twice a week to my people that are important to know this information, what's coming due on submittals, who are we waiting on, what's the status, and how many days in review and overdue. actually jumping into the submittals themselves, note that we make it as simple as possible to create these. You can absolutely come in and create them one-offs as necessary, but also note that you can bring in your submittals from an Excel spreadsheet. If you want to, maintain one outside of our project and then import it in, that's completely doable. You can also create your own templates here in the cloud of the different types of submittals you're going to need based on the project, and even copy project to project what you're working on. And that way, we can quickly get the submittals created, saving tons of time for your project assistant who normally has to input all this and spend a day or two doing that. We want to make things simple. And we track everything by package and by item. This allows you to know quickly, in this case, I'm looking at my Division 8, I'm curious about my access doors, and I can see that access doors has 9 different submittal items, and you could track each one independently. Some of them have been approved, some of them are currently in a revise and resubmit status, and the current ball in court is my own. That's what this little icon means, and I can just check mark all 4 of these, attach my files that need to go with it, hit submit, and shoot that over to my architect as a transmittal that they can then log in and reply back. And we have fully customizable approval processes, meaning if you would like to have your subcontractors create their submittals and forward them to you, you can forward them to the architect and back down, we can do that. We can do just you to the architect. We can even have your subcontractors collaborate with you on a specific submittal. It's all doable. We've got, in most cases, 3 to 4 main ways you can do it, depending upon your company. So take my examples here with a little bit of brain thinking on, hey, this is what Vincent's doing, but I could do it a little bit differently because the tools exist. Now, we have a lot of other things in the project management, not a lot of time to talk about them, so I'm just going to give you a brief synopsis of what we're looking at here. We've got daily logs that we're going to pull in, and I'll try to get the app up here in a second to show you those. But daily logs allow you to track everything that's going on in your day, take pictures with the app right there from your camera on your tablet or your smartphone, how many people worked that day, how many hours, what was the weather, which of course we also grab right from the zip code of the project. We have punch lists that you can customize how those are broken out and have up to 4 different punches. So if I want to say we have an owner punch, a contractor, a subcontractor, an architect, and did I miss any? Nope, we got them all. All of these are different punches, and we can have up to 4 on every single item. And these have who's responsible marked on it, other CC people can be invited, and we track all the conversations going along with them, back and forth on the replies and everything else in between. We also can do meeting minutes, and we also have something we call open issues, which is like punch lists, but for questions on the fly that need to be taken care of while we're working on it. Now, all of this is great, and the key piece to this is that it's all set up and designed so you can absolutely download them to your own hard drive if you need to get them off the cloud. And what that might mean is a backup, but it also might mean I need to get a closeout document turned into the owner at the end of my project so that they don't have to dig through a giant box full of documentation. Everything you do in Project Center is recorded with metadata and available to download to, say, a flash drive, which you can turn in and hand into the project owner and say, here are all of my documents, plans, specs, photos, all available on this flash drive, available offline without having to have access, along with not just the original documents, but the revisions, and they can then download and have all those available to them there. But more than that, it gives you all the metadata so you know what you're looking at. It's not just a big, giant PDF dump. And besides the PDFs of all the documentation, we track all the project management documents too. So if I need to go back to a specific daily on my daily log and pull up, what was going on in September 15th on Tuesday, I could see that daily log. I could see what the weather was like on that day, what comments and visitors and materials, and even all of the pictures that were tied to that. This is, again, something that we give you in Project Center, available to have access to all the information in closeout form on a flash drive or on your hard drive to whoever who needs it. Going back to the main live site, also note we have integration back in with the Sage accounting side. We do a bunch of different things, but primarily we're all about giving you access into your forecasting, into your job cost, into dates, commitments, and cost events. Now, what does that look like? Let's start with commitments. You can create purchase orders or subcontracts from the field right there from your tablet, pull up and have access to all of your vendors that are in your Sage address book. And from here, I could create a PO or a subcontract tying back to my cost codes in my system, either pulling right there from whatever's been budgeted or even creating new cost codes on the fly. We can tag back to your extras or phases, as well as getting the data later on. Because we are a connection back in with your Sage accounting, I can pull up a existing PO that I've already sent back to accounting and look here and see what's been invoiced on it so far on the accounting side, what's been retained, what's been paid. Think of it as a great way to know what's going on the accounting front when you're out in the field. You're out there talking to a subcontractor who's claiming they haven't gotten paid and they are going to walk off the job site. We'll pull up your tablet, pull that subcontract up and say, well, it does show you've been invoiced and maybe even show that you've been paid. So our system has cut out a check already. You should be receiving it soon. You'll have that information in your hands. We can also create change orders for all of these. So if you do need to create a change order to a subcontract, to a purchase order, you can do that as well, as even to the owner contracts as well. We can do PCOs, CORs, change orders, internal events, approval letters. You customize it on a job-by-job basis. What do you want to have? What markups do you want to make available to your job change orders? And we can even tie them back to RFIs, to punch list items, to open list items. And just like on the commitments, we can put in all of the different event information, generate what cost code has it worked on, is this material, subcontract, labor, all these changes can be done. And we have a multi-level approval to allow your architects, owners, the GC, and even your accounting to come in and approve their portions before it syncs back over with the general accounting side. On the job costing information side of things, we also give you direct access into your Sage accounting so that you can always pull up as a project manager or superintendent and pull up and see, what is my estimate? What have I been budgeted on? So as I'm going and doing my walkthroughs on my job, I can make sure I'm not going over budget, that I'm staying within my contract on the billing side of things and seeing what's been billed and what retainage is certainly sitting out there. Summary of the whole job in general to have a quick idea what my billing statuses are and what's my gross margin sitting out there, and knowing where my cost codes are. This gives me a breakdown of all of my cost codes down to even the category level, so it gives me all the information I need to appropriately do my job and make decisions on a day-to-day basis. And newest to the repertoire here in the Construction Project Center is what we call forecasting, where we can now, as a project manager, pull up our job forecasting sheet and actually update how many units have happened today. So if I'm working on this and I know, well, 400 units have come in and the cost of those are $300 or $3,000, I can update that live right here. We even have a spot for remaining risk on work. So if you feel that there's some risk that you're not going to get things taken care of, you're going over budget potentially, not necessarily going over budget, but you have the potential risk on the remaining work, you can do just that and put your notes and say why. And this will sync back in with the Sage accounting, so people on both sides of the coin will be able to see all the information. Now, Sage Construction Project Center's integration does allow a lot of stuff, and we're always adding more, so that's just going to expand as time goes by as well. Now, one last thing about this, we do have two different pieces, and we're going to talk about that in just a second, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on Sage Bid Management, but do know for anyone working pre-construction, we do have the ability to do an invitation to bid tracking. And that is an optional piece to the system. You could actually run it standalone if you want, and if you are more interested in bid management, email me. I'll give you my email address in a minute, and I'll get you a full demo of that. We have some recordings for this piece, but I just want to let everyone know the Sage Bid Management lives within the Project Center. It stores all of the same documentation that you use in Project Center within here, and it allows you to track all your invitations to bid to all your people. One last thing I'm going to pull out here before we get into the final Q&A section is I'd like to show you the app, if I can get it connected from my tablet in a relatively quick time frame. So give me just one quick second to see if I can do just that. And we'll see. Hit the mirror button, and hey, we're looking good. Excellent. So, tablet's apparently upside down. There we go. Now, let me expand the screen. This is our app. As I said, we have two ways to use the software, one through the website and one through the app. Now, the app is designed around doing some key things offline. You can do all of this stuff, most of this stuff, available through the website, but if you want to work offline as well or do it on a smartphone, maybe as a superintendent going to do your daily walkthroughs, tablet's a great place to do it. I can pull up, take a current day, maybe January 5th. I can duplicate it, and when I do that, the temperature is automatically going to update based on the day or the weather of the zip code of the project. So coming in here, I can see what the weather is, what my material, equipment, safety violation, all that stuff can be typed in here. I can also take pictures. So right here with the add button, I could take a photo either from my library on my camera phone or take a picture right then and there from my piece. And also track all the activities. Who are my subcontractors out there? How many people did they have? What were they doing? All this is available in the app through our daily logs. And also, looking at the time here, got to pick up the pace slightly. Also know that you can track all of your plans and specs through here as well, even having them available offline. And throughout here, pull up a plan and see in great detail what am I looking at. Pull that PDF, view it, see the different pieces, and even do simple markups on it so I can highlight a certain area, say please look at this, save it, and email it over to somebody and have them have it accessible. Now the app's growing as well. A couple things that are coming out here very shortly for the app. We're going to be adding RFIs and punch lists to that, and those will just be added, no extra charge as they come across there. Someone asked, is it an Apple app? Is it an Android app? Today it is Apple only, but within the next month or two, we'll be releasing the Android app for this as well. Now, I know there's probably some questions out there I'm not going to be able to get to, things like pricing potentially. So if you do have anything that I'm not able to answer today, please email me, vincent.pate@sage.com. I do want to let you know if you would like to get pricing on this, how our pricing structure works, please contact your Sage account manager. Their phone number is 800-858-7095 and get you all the pricing information you need. At this point, I do see a couple questions out there. I answered a couple of them a second ago, but I'd like to take this time to answer anything else out there. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording so I can give a clean one to everyone